RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night or midday live stream. Excited to be back and looking forward to connecting and finding out what's going on in your world, as well as sharing with you a couple articles that we came across that, of course, comes from the Discord chat room over there. So I want to make sure I mention to everybody where you can go share articles that we can touch on during the evenings over in the Discord page. But welcome to the live stream. My name is Mike, the host. And looking forward to connecting and finding out what's going on and share with you my 2 cents on what's going on and where we're heading. So I'm going to dive into the chat and welcome any new viewers to the channel and welcome returning viewers to the channel back here for this live stream. And when the phone lines are open, 313-462-0027, I would love to hear from you directly so that you can check in and let your voice be heard. So let's dive right into it. All right, so we got Master Don with some thumbs up. We got Monkey King says by the time we get our stimulus check, silver will be $16 with a $34 premium. Oh man, good stuff. We got Alina here says $100. Okay, not sure what that's for. Let me know. We got Black Swan Steve says it's raining stimulus. Is it raining stimulus yet? Midnight Green. What else we got here? Jay. We got S400. Dexter Dave in the building. JoJo. Okay, we got a fair amount of people here. Brando Commando. Jim Diggs says, Mike, you got a humming sound again. Frick. Let me fix some things on my end here. Let me up my mic and down back some things here. Let me see here. Let me dial back here. Echo cancellation. Automatically adjust mic. So hopefully this helps. In the meantime, hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know in the chat via thumbs up if the sound is okay. And then we can work with that best we can. So I'm going to try to use a computer today for the phone time. Hopefully things go better there. But it looks like stimulus checks is what's on people's mind in the chat. Daryl said I've been putting half of all my unemployment checks into silver the last 2 months. All right, we got Jace G says Theta hit $5 briefly today. All right, so let's dive into it, man. I want to open up and share a couple articles here, and then we're going to make it work as best we can. And go from there. Okay, so let me pull on the screen here some things that caught my attention. And before I do that, let me actually do a little house cleaning and point you guys as to where, if you're interested, you can stay up to date on what's going on in the news. And so here we go. Let me open this up here. All right, so for those that are tuning in, want to make sure you know where to connect with us throughout the day. Put articles up on the rethinkingthedollar.com blog, so you can go there and stay in tune with what's going on in metals and crypto, you name it. I got my little ticker here so you can stay up to date with the prices of some things here. And then also, for those people who want to join us off air during the week, want to consider becoming a Patreon, supporting the channel, as well as join us for some face-to-face time. Consider becoming a member of the Patreon gang, and you guys can do that as well. And then I want to make sure I direct your attention to the social media platforms where you connect with RTD off air, as well as the Discord page, if the page actually loads here. And so if you scroll down to the RTD Discord community page, you can connect with us over there and share, videos from your favorite commentators, as well as articles on throughout the day. And then I'll grab those articles from there, and we can cover them in the evenings. And then this is what the Discord link looks like here. So you click that, become a member there, and you guys will be ready to go. So, all right, let's dive right into it. So here's an article that I came across. It looks like it's about a week or two old, but new to me. But it said fast food menu prices have soared during the pandemic. And what I found to be most interesting about this article here was the graphs that go with it, showing how crazy the prices on fast food has actually been. And I myself, I don't tend to eat out fast food wise, so I didn't really pay attention to it. But it's good to see that there's people out there who keep this information, and it actually comes from a Bureau of Labor Statistics. So as of March last year, there was a major disconnect in the price of getting your favorite fast food meal in comparison to, full service sitting down at a restaurant, which more than likely they were all shut down. So there's no way prices can really rise there for people to dine in because there was no such thing. So interesting stuff here. And then, of course, the grocery price inflation versus restaurants. And this is pretty much, it's unfair given the fact that restaurants, for the most part, shut down everywhere. But it shows here that food at home, by you having to cook for yourself, it spiked tremendously from March of last year, and it appears to be dying down a little bit. But yet, once again, it's coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and all the stats that come from them, you got to take it with a grain of salt. So just some things there I thought we'll bring it to your attention. And then another thing that was very interesting out in Idaho. And so it says protesters were burning masks at the Capitol, rallying against the rules. And so, as I've always mentioned before, I'm one of those people who would like to resist compliance as much as I can in things that I don't necessarily fully believe. And so when I saw this here, I thought this was worth mentioning. It links to a video where you see people at the Capitol building actually throwing masks inside of the burning fire here. So as you guys can see on the screen here, it's just people outside the Capitol sharing their, letting their voice be heard by dumping masks in. You got all these kids here doing it as well. So, hoorah to those people for standing up for what they believe is right as well as what is wrong. So interesting stuff here. And then here's something interesting as well. This is from Breaking 9/11 today. And this is about the fact that it looks like VP Harris, who we always talked about, who more than likely will become the first female president sooner than later, because the chance of Joe actually finishing his term is probably not likely. And so it looks like she's out there leading the charge in regards to international and foreign policy and things of that nature. And so it says Harris is playing an unusually large role in shaping Biden's foreign policy. It says, quote, Harris has spoken independently of Biden to at least 6 world leaders, an unusual large number for a new vice president. So when you got the VP out there calling shots internationally, lets us know who's probably really in charge. And then here's another thing here. So it looks like, according to the CDC, you are now able to gather with family and friends and loved ones, according to how they measure and want to dictate this whole narrative of those that have been fully jabbed thoroughly can gather without mask in gatherings. So once again, this whole marketing ploy to keep everybody in fear and thinking that this current jab is going to be a solution, when actuality it can never solve the problem, because the problem itself goes well beyond the health realm. And so something worthwhile. And then here's something as well I thought was interesting. Oil prices. So it looks like yesterday morning in Saudi Arabia, there was or we're told that there was an attack on the Aramco oil fields in Saudi Arabia from a ship in the ocean via drone. And so we had this, I think it was last year during President Trump's administration, and we were talking about how would Trump or the U.S. respond. And apparently there was nothing that came about from this. And so once again, it's one of those events where oil prices is already up. Just look at the gas tank, just look at the gas pump now. And so, of course, the linkage between the dollar, which is supposedly, the backdrop, or the anchor rather, for oil globally, I think it's going to be a disconnect real soon when Saudi Arabia officially announces that they'll be willing to accept the digital yuan as well as the digital Russian ruble, and of course probably Bitcoin pretty soon. So once that does happen, bye-bye to the petrodollar officially. And so that stuff definitely, I believe, is already underway, but yet we won't hear about it just yet. And then here's something where I thought was even more alarming. And I actually meant to do a video on this earlier, just about how you have mainstream news analysts, financial analysts that are well beyond excited for this digital gold push. And so here's some technical and fundamental, as I was going to say, mumbo jumbo, where they try to show how people are getting rid of gold and they're going into Bitcoin. And there's a lot of issues I have with this chart, which I can touch on briefly. But here's Mike McGlone, whoever this guy is. I don't follow him, but he's a Bloomberg analyst, I think. It says digital gold pushing aside of the old guard. It says gold will always have a place in jewelry and coin collection, but most indicators point to an accelerating pace of gold, Bitcoin. And so indicators, what? Technical analysis. So one thing about this chart that really bothers me amongst many other things is the fact that they're using technical analysis, as they say, fundamentals, in comparison to the last 4 years. And so they're using literally the last cryptocurrency rally as a guide to provide technical analysis as to where Bitcoin will be going in relation to gold when it comes to the ETF holdings of gold. And so, of course, given the last 4 years with the cryptocurrency adoption push becoming a mainstream subject matter from mainstream news sources, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever that this chart could be very favorable for new people coming into the space, thinking that, maybe it might be worthwhile to try to put, to get out of gold and get out of silver and to, get some BTC, because everybody is putting it on their balance sheets and stuff like that. But once again, you got 4-year technical analysis. It compares it to about, say 5,000 worth of TA on the importance of gold as a hedge. And as it says here, as a store of value in an investor portfolios. And so I don't think you would really want to replace binary code in the forms of ones and zeros with something that has an elemental properties that is fundamentally sound based upon the fact that it's a part of the our existence when it being something from the earth. And so, yeah, that's just my 2 cents there. But once again, it shows ETF gold holdings going down and Bitcoin soaring. And if you look at this, if you didn't know any better, you think this is where you should want to go. But yeah, replacing gold, I would doubt that heavily. And of course, I'm sure everybody wants to touch on this whole tomorrow. The House will vote on the adjustments made to Senate's passing of this 1.9 stimulus bill. And so, of course, nothing is new in there. They're going to extend a couple things, give people some crumbs. But yet, once again, it begs the question: if 500 billion equates to the total going to the people and to government fiscal programs, where does the other 1.4 trillion go to? And that's the question people really don't seem to care about as long as they get their stimulus check. So, yeah, we can touch on that as well. And then up here, it says House prepares to pass the stimulus bill on Tuesday, and Biden is expected to sign it in this week. And so, once again, more information there. And of course, when you have fresh currency being created and brought into existence, where does it want to go? To the overinflated assets such as the Dow. So as I said last week, don't be surprised between this stimulus coming and the next one, which is going to be the 3 to 5 trillion, the green recovery relief bill, which is probably be announced next month once the signature is signed on this American rescue plan. We're going to have Dow 50,000 by July, barring some type of market correction, I believe. And then here's an interesting chart here about the bond market. And so everybody's really keeping an eye on the 10-year and the long 30-year treasury and whatnot. And so here's something that's interesting from a CPA or a financial analyst that I follow. And it talks about just the fact how, a lot of people seem to be shorting the 10-year still. And once again, when you get into the whole debt bond market game, it's all one big casino. And so more people are concerned with the bond traders than actually those that are aware of the fact that you're lending funds to an insolvent government. It doesn't really end well anyway. So, I don't really follow it too much, but it is a life force of this financial economy. And then Austria suspends their current AstraZeneca vaccine batch after a death. So that's going to be something we can touch on as well, because this summer especially, they're going to be really promoting and trying to put as much marketing material out there, encouraging people to go get that jab at a time where it's still only available in emergency use for the most part. And then here's something I think we should all be concerned with. Here is an article, or not article, but a video from, I think it says, as it says here, Congresswoman from Georgia, who, let me see here, it says she's talking about HR 8, the National Gun Registry, and HR 1446, which is the permanent firearm wait list. And so I'm going to play this real quick so you guys can hear this, and then I'll open up the phone lines and we can talk. So here's her little spiel here. So for now, hold the phone calls for me, and we'll get to it in a second.
Hey everyone, this is Congresswoman.
Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Hey everyone, this is Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. We've got big gun controls coming down the pipe this week in D.C. The first one is HR 8, National Gun Registry. We all know that gun registration leads to confiscation. We've got to stop that one ASAP. The next one is HR 1446. This allows DC bureaucrats to stop you from being able to buy your firearm indefinitely. Get on the phone, call your reps, call them, tell them, stop these bills, and let's protect our Second Amendment. Thank you very much.
Protecting our Second Amendment. And so this is something that is being done. So if you haven't noticed, there's a lot of activity happening behind the scenes of stuff we're not hearing about. And I thought I would share that just because, the Second Amendment is something that they're going to attack it because they want to remove guns from our hands because it makes it easier for them to roll out their agendas down the line. And of course, a lot of this happened to be about Operation Warp Speed, which is the combination of the Department of Defense and Department of Health colliding in regards to that jab and that 5G stuff, because it's all about tagging, tracking, and tracing everybody in this country here. So that's what it is. But anyway, enough of me ranting, man. I can go on and on. Got a couple articles I'm going to touch on. But in the meantime, let's open up the phone lines and let's get this party rolling. So curious to hear whatever else is on your mind, and let me know what's going on. All right, so let me check in the chat real quick. So feel free to highlight at Rethinking the Dollar to stand out, and I can definitely jump on it. And we can go from there. Let me see here. Let me open up this phone line. It says my money is back in crypto, mostly in Zil, bought at 4 cents. Yeah, and so the push to go digital is not going away. It's going to be here. It's going to be permanent. Anyway, hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, hi. This is Dion. I'm calling from Alabama.
Dion from Alabama. How you doing? What's going on in Alabama? What's in your mind this afternoon? Hello? Oops, looks like I'm sorry. I hung up on you by mistake. All right. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, hi. This is Dion again, calling from Alabama.
Hey, yes.
We got disconnected.
Okay, I apologize for that. How you doing, Dion? What's on your mind this early evening?
Okay, so I've been researching a lot about unrest in different countries like Africa.
Okay.
I believe that they have started up again in the African Horn, and it seems to have a lot to do with them trying to, at this point, migrate out of their country, just like the Great Migration is happening over here, from state to state. And I'm just wondering, do you know anything about the fact that all of these places that produce oil, like in the African Horn, and how they are now disrupting Syria again, and how there seems to be things going on in Israel, that all plays a role, right, in what's going on in our financial world. In other words, all of this petrodollar, it seems to be coming to a head. Can you explain that a little bit?
Okay, so I have not been paying attention to a lot of those events in that region just because a lot of that stuff has been going on for quite some time now. And I think it still goes back to the roots of colonization, to where a good chunk of those nations there in Africa are still heavily colonized by the European continent. So I wouldn't be surprised if the idea of trying to uproot citizens from their lands, because they're still, the continent of Africa is the wealthiest spot on this planet right now. So there's a heavy presence of Chinese in that region. And so I know, as a part of the One Belt, One Road initiative and all the maritime trading route that they're trying to establish, China literally, I believe, in the future has plans to basically colonize the continent of Africa and extract all the wealth from there. So it's a heavy presence, and so it could be a war between the East and the West over that region there, because that's where all the true wealth is at. So that's kind of what I believe is going on there as far as the chaos in that region. It's been going on forever. Their currencies are crumbling, and China, of course, is extending loans to all those troubled nations via their mechanisms of the AIIB, which is another, infrastructure set up by the Chinese to put that government debt that they have taken from us to use, and actually building infrastructure in a lot of those countries there. So I think it's about the collision between the East and the West in this next, monetary paradigm. And I think China wants to first go at it as opposed to the U.S. So that's my personal opinion on that in regards to what's going on. But I can't speak in particular on any particular region. So.
No, that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for that question. Of course, I'll try to dive deeper into that. But, everything, of course, at this current moment is denominated in dollars, i.e. the petrodollar. So as they uproot all of that stuff there, they got to clean house somehow. So I put that to the chaos in our region. So hopefully that helped a little bit. And also,
thank you so much.
We got a lot of smart people in the chat, so feel free to chime in via chat and add some more nuggets to that question there. So thank you for calling in.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, great question, man. Great question. So, of course, a lot of the activity in our region is all geared towards the next monetary world order, and however they, meaning, China and the U.S., will work this out. Because I believe a lot of what is going on now is in cooperation with this current presidency. Because I think Trump was I don't think he was the anti-China guy that he painted himself to be. And everybody knows, I believe, that a part of what's going on is the transition out of the dollar paradigm as it dies and into the digital yuan, i.e. surveillance state and the surveillance economy globally. So, yeah, anyway, let's talk. Give me a call. Phone lines are open. I want to hear from you guys. Brando says, I got a notice. I got a notice on my TD Bank app to turn on location services so they can notify me of emergencies or banking alerts in my area. And so, Brando, thanks for sharing that, man. So, once again, what would be a emergency in your area that you need to be notified from your financial institution there? And so, once again, they're very suspicious. Feel free to share your thoughts on what came to mind when you received that notification and how I'm sure it didn't set too well with you. But hopefully, in my personal opinion, as I've mentioned before, at this current moment, as the banking system crumbles, you don't want to have everything in those institutions as they come down. So, well, hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. How you doing, my man?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to spread the word a little bit. They're pretty strict on still some of the stuff here with the mask down in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
But I've been just not wearing mine, and I'm really surprised at how little resistance I've been getting. A lot of times I'm in a store or a bank and I'm the only one without a mask and nobody says anything to me. And then, maybe 1 out of 5 or 6 stores, someone will actually say something to me. So I just want to encourage people to, not fall into that trap and just conform so easily and, let them take our liberties from us. But, we deserve what we'll tolerate, and we don't need to tolerate this any longer. I don't know if the businesses can come back. You think the small businesses can come back from all this money?
I think it's possible for them to come back, but it will not come back with the government putting down their foot on their neck as far as these lockdowns and these mandates and all these restrictions on occupancy or how much you can actually have your business open back up towards. So I don't think it's a part of their plan. I think they want to close down small businesses because that's the best way to gut the total economy by killing the life force of it, which happens to be small businesses. So I think with all these restrictions and regulations in the democratically held states, they would probably want to lock down quick if they could. And we'll see, because there's a divide going on now between the Republican states is opening up completely without the mask, and then the Democratic states that are continuing to follow the script, because those are the nations that need the bailouts. It's a part of this $350 billion state relief aid stuff. So I think we're headed for a great divide of this country. And don't forget, Texas might lead the way with this secession from the union. So if that picks up steam, like I believe it will, more states may look to follow suit. So we can have a complete, breaking up of this country, which I think would be a good thing, in my personal opinion. So, but I don't think they want small business to open back up fully. What's your thoughts on that?
Another quick subject. Are you familiar with Catherine Austin Fitts?
I am.
Financial.
Yep.
She was talking with Greg Hunter, which, he's off YouTube now. He got booted. You can get him on USA Watchdog. He still has some great interviews.
Yeah.
But she was saying that this whole jab could, come down to, us buying even groceries, buying and selling. And that turns right into the biblical, Christians will not be able to buy and sell. I hope we're not that close. I mean, Jesus come back tonight, I'll be happy. I'm ready.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for my children and grandchildren, I hate to see, some people suffer through a lot of stuff that this government may be trying to put on us. And, it's really a spiritual war. It's Satan versus, good versus evil is what this comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, 100%, man. And, I believe, and I was going to mention this earlier, that, the whole blockchain, it could be used for good, but it was intended for evil. Because at this current moment, we are clearly in biblical times with the governments globally all synchronized in trying to strip our freedoms from us and tell us what we can and can't do. And they are trying to play gods in our lives. And the only person can give us liberty and freedom is God himself, because that's how we were born. We don't need to ask our governments for permission to do things, but that's how this society has been built up to this point where, the whole idea of buying and selling, once they tell us you can and cannot go in these certain stores unless you got your jab, i.e. the CDC telling us that we can now gather in groups now if you've been fully vaccinated. Like, who was actually waiting on permission to gather in the first place would be my question. But everybody out there approaches this whole health situation differently. But I hope people, in my opinion, don't comply, because the more you comply, the easier it is to become complacent, and then of course forfeit your liberty to these governments. So yeah, man, that's just my 2 cents, man. But I appreciate you for calling and sharing your thoughts.
All right, one more thing. Like, if you had the ability to get out of the city, I mean, if this thing rolls out quicker, sooner than later, would you go ahead and sell your home and try to get out of the city as much as possible? You think we're in that close?
Great question. And so I think everybody's situation is different depending on your resources that you have available to you, as well as the family side of things. But if there's opportunity to basically get out of the heavily condensed and populated regions and go somewhere where there's less chaos and confusion, and if you know how to pick up and start again and get back to basically working the land the way that our ancestors knew how to do, if you could do that, that'd be great. But my thing is, for my generation and younger, we so computer dependent that it'll be hard to uproot our lives and go out to the countryside, calling ourselves using our hands solely. So if you have the skills and know-how, then sure, that would probably be your best bet, in my opinion. So that's definitely something I would love to do.
Yeah, I'm too old for a mule and some seeds. I'd shoot myself if I had to do that. But at the same time, just from a safety aspect, it's just getting out of town and prepping and having my food storage and that kind of thing. Yeah. I had the ability to do it, but it's just having the guts to turn your life upside down and move 30, 40 miles out of town.
Yeah, and that's something that I wrestle with daily, because I sense the need and urgency of making some severe changes intentionally in that context there, as opposed to waiting until they're forced upon me. And so having younger kids and stuff like that, I got to figure out how to navigate all that. But it's definitely on the forefront of my mind. And, I want to pray for wisdom from the Lord to, position me properly. So I don't want to get ahead of his will for my life and me call myself trying to save myself when, he told me to bunker down here and wait for him to deliver us. So, but hey, I can go on preaching forever, man. But thanks for calling in.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, be good. Yeah, man. Great stuff there, man. I appreciate the back and forth and definite questions. Give me a call, man. Let's talk. I'm curious to hear what's in your mind. You pick a topic, we can touch on it. And Dexter Dave, I got a thought here, says, Mike, I watched a video on BitChute last night with Dr. Cynthia Keeney. Very interesting stuff. I'm not familiar with it. I got to check that out. I don't know. Let me know about that one. And also, for those that are tuning in, make sure you guys join the Discord page. If you join the Discord page, you can share videos like that in the video portion so we all can see it. So that's a good way of keeping us all up to date with whatever you come across. And go from there. And so I like this here. It says, blockchain is fiat. You can't hold or see it, even worse than the dollar. So, once again, but the blockchain, the more I dive into it, I was always skeptical of, how the transition would occur, knowing that digits was a part of the game. But the goal is to remove physical property from your possession in general. The goal is, as I mentioned, you'll own nothing and be happy with it. So going solely digital, getting excited about profits and gains denominated in dollars towards the blockchain space, anywhere you go, you're going to come back towards real, tangible, natural resources. And just as a little side note here, I put this up. Let me share something with you guys real quick. I put this up in the Discord page just to get some feedback from the community members on what they thought about this. So let me share this. But it's just me just trying to put together some little visual aids here. And so I was looking at some articles in the crypto portion of the Discord, and a lot of talk about XRP, Ripple, and stuff like that. And I was thinking, so many people are excited about profiting, at the same time that they're destroying the global monetary system. But along with that, we're turning it into a surveillance state in its entirety, because everything we do is through a computer or through the internet or through centrally controlled mediums, i.e. the social media platforms or whatnot. Because a smaller, big boys are, they're small right now, but it's they're talking about value. And I said, real value is found in the elements needed to sustain life, not computer code. And I was just looking at all the colors on the screen. So I put the periodic table on the left is greater than the digital assets to the right. And of course, mainstream attention now is all focused on the right. And no matter how much you profit in nominal terms with, BTC, LTC, whatever you consider to be your ticket, your lottery ticket, when it's time to cash out, you're going back to the left, because your Lambo, your house, your car, your, whatever it is you're going to actually use in the tangible realm, it originates from the periodic table as a chemical element. And I was looking at, silver and gold in particular. What makes them so unique is the fact that they're not binary numbers in the form of ones and zeros that was created by man. Everything to the left of this screen that's on the BTC digital asset space is all man's invention, i.e. code. Trust the code. You trust in man. And never put your trust in man, because you will be let down. But everything to the left is the periodic table, which everything you are as a human being, created in the image and likeness of God, comes from this periodic table here. Our body is water and amino acids combined together with all the other, godly like properties which God placed in the earth, which is so valuable. And the more we're distracted by digital illusions of wealth, the further we remove ourselves from owning actual, tangible, real things. You're literally giving up, your right to property, that it can be tangibly held and felt in your hands. You just look at Bill Gates. Bill Gates bought up a portion of the land that's available in this continent here, which makes him a wealth, a major wealth holder outside the digits he has, because he owns something real. He owns God's green earth. He's going to use it for evil against us. But I can rant forever. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, how's it going? It's Brando Commando.
Brando Commando. I'm doing good, my man. How you doing? Give me your thoughts about that TD Bank app situation.
Oh man, so I use TD Bank app all the time, and I logged on today, and the first thing that pops up is enable location services. I'm thinking, the hell does the bank care where I am?
So could
I had more or less the stuff I need.
Watch this. Could you close it out, or they forced you to have to respond yes or no? And if you said no, they were we're sorry, we can no longer provide you this app or something like that.
It was definitely a trick, because it had a continue and then it had a small white X. So it didn't say yes or no. It had a continue.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let me try the X, and it worked. It kept on going.
So right now, that's their warning sign telling you that something's changing behind the scene, and the next time it pops up in a week or two, there won't be no X, because it's going to be, watch this, I bet you somehow, some way, they probably changed the fine print in the clause between the contract between you guys, saying that now we need this additional service so that we can better survey those around the country and who's banked and unbanked and all that crap. So expect there to be some changes.
When you go to the gas pump and you use a credit card, and then you put your zip code in, right?
Yeah.
That's quasi-location-esque.
Yeah.
So we were talking the other day about how they're going to use smart contracts in the digital currency. And one of the ways that they can use these smart contracts is to throttle different parts of the country that might be experiencing inflation. And if you're outside your zip code or outside your FEMA zone, it might start denying your transactions.
Man, you thinking out there. Ooh, that's a good stuff, man. So once again, that plays into the surveillance state. So, of course, the whole goal, I believe, and this is why the blockchain is so important. So if you just look at the blockchain and what, Microsoft has already funded. Bill Gates already been on top of this. He's been buying companies and funding all types of blockchain projects for stuff like this, for the travel pass and all that stuff. But yet, think about this. The goal is to get us solely connected via the smartphones or whatnot, via blockchain. So that makes perfect sense to me, to where eventually to basically be able to put you in certain portions of the country. And if you travel outside, then all of a sudden your digital dollars or your EUSD may not work because you didn't get permission to travel to that part of the country, and you're not supposed to be over there, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, dude, they're setting up Hunger Games, man. Come on, we can see the name of the game just by watching all these crazy movies.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. Like, I've always believed that, as a part of their sick and evil, twisted ways of operating, they always give you a heads up as to what they're going to do, because the average Joe don't even consider it as being possible. But in actuality, it's always in front of our face via all these movies that they put out there ahead of time. So. Yeah, man. Good stuff, man.
I called to tell you a funny story, though.
Go ahead, give it to me.
So, we're going to get those $1,400 stimulus checks soon. So I went online to go buy some silver right away.
Yeah.
And, I bought my son some silver a while ago. And when I went to the coin store, bought like 30 or so ounces just for fun. He's 9. So I was like, hey, do you want some more silver bars, or do you want a stack of 20s? Like, just joking, He's like, stack of 20s. And I'm like, come on, man, you know better than this. So I took 10 minutes describing why metal is valuable and why the paper that was printed 50 years ago is still the same $20 that it was 50 years ago. And I asked him again, I'm like, do you want some metal bars or do you want the paper? He's like, I want a stack of 20s. I want a stack of 20s.
So it's going to be hard to get that out of his mind. But yet, and that's a good way of continuing to remind your children of that. So I'm trying to figure out there has to be like some ways to really bring it home for all the youth right now, because they're all tied into Zillow, PayPal, and all those cash, equivalents digitally. But reaching that generation is going to be crucial, man, because it's not going to be any resistance from the younger generation, because that's all they know is digits. And your son knows paper because y'all have been papering them up before. So finding a way to reach that next generation is going to be key, man. I need some ideas. So let me know how you solve this problem and share it with us so we can all continue to harp it home with our children, man.
Yeah, well, you know how it is, man. Good parents raise good kids, and that's about all we can do.
Hey, I hear you, man. Thanks for calling in, boss.
All right, thanks, Mike. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Later.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi. Do you guys have any toilet paper?
Toilet paper? Yeah, I have a whole roll right here. How much do you need?
Toilet paper. I need some right now.
Okay, so you need 1 roll, 2 rolls? What do you need?
Well, I'm just asking you to bring some over.
No problem. How do you want this, today or tomorrow?
Wait, this isn't Ronnie?
No, this is not Ronnie. This is RTV Live Talk.
Oh, Lord, I am so sorry. It's just I haven't spoken to anyone in such a long time. Please stay on the line with me. I don't want to lose anyone.
Okay. Yeah, that was funny. I had to play along with it a little bit. Anyway, let's keep it moving. We go a couple more minutes and we'll get ready to dial back. Always good to have a little bit of comedy thrown in there. So yeah, if you got time to call in and be a prankster, I appreciate you for tuning in, man. Hopefully you learned something. Anyway, all right, let's talk. It says, Mike, crypto means secret. Okay, here's something here. And so let me get to that. So Tony, thank you for reminding me of the super chat. Super Seamster, so many show. I appreciate you for blessing the channel. Bakersfield says, get your weight up. Wish, give more Mike. Appreciate that, man. Thank you for being a blessing. But anyway, I can go on and on and on, but I'm not going to, because I'm getting ready to dial back. I appreciate everybody for checking in and sharing your 2 cents. And I want to encourage you, if you have not already, make sure you guys go over and join the community. So definitely, I want to put it on the screen here again so people can see it. But the best place to connect is share your ideas and your thoughts. Of course, no spam, nothing like that. You'll be deleted quickly. But go over to the social media tab, click Discord page, join the Discord community, share news, share videos from your favorite commentators and appropriate links, and definitely keep us up to date on what's going on. And I'll grab those videos and articles and share them with you throughout the week. And of course, I'm going to get back to some more interviews pretty soon, just because I'm curious on connecting with people outside of the financial space on like real world practical ways of handling these situations. Because everybody know now the economy's crumbling, the world's, in the financial sense is being readjusted because they're trying to restructure it to build back better, which means basically they're going to steal everything that we've worked hard for. And so how can we live and make adjustments in this current environment we are in now and still thrive? And so I want to figure out and learn how to do real world things with our hands. And I want to talk to people who are doing big things, because there's an abundance of opportunities out here. We just need the education to get it done. So anyway, with that being the case, I appreciate everybody for hanging out with me. If you've enjoyed the back and forth, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And more importantly, share this information with your family and friends. Like all the little quick takes I put together is designed to make it short and quick to where you can share it so others can figure out what's going on, man, because you won't hear an alternative approach from your mainstream news sources. And it's sad to say that more than likely your financial advisor won't be telling you anything either, other than probably buy the dip in the stock markets or buy the rally. So once again, all the smart money's already gone, man. They're already bought islands and bought real tangible things to run to. So, but anyway, be blessed, be safe. I will see you guys on the flip side, or check you out on the Discord page. Peace.